Welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CoffeeStout, and I'm here from the future because I've already played the matches and saw how it interacts on the field. We're playing Legions of Phyrexia today, and this is among one of my favorite starter decks that they have given us, mostly because we have a lot of really good useful cards. Phyrexian Arena sees a lot of play, well, it doesn't see a lot of play in Standard, but it does see a lot of play in Historic, or at least it should. It's a classic card. It can hurt you, but if you have Sheoldreds or something like that, it's not so bad. You also have Gix Yawgmoth Praetor, which is a very big staple in Standard because it allows you to draw cards at the expense of one life every time a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents. So what are we doing with this deck now that you know that I like some of the cards in here? Well, we are trying to play a semi-control build. You have a lot of pieces that do well in control pieces, like Ossification, like Alabaster host Intercessor, and we do have some Deadly Derisions and one copy of Pylon to give us a lot of options when it comes to controlling the battlefield. We also have the good card draw with Gix Yawgmoth Praetor and Phyrexian Arena when we are lucky enough to get those into our hand. Yep, I know. They're starter decks. These are very inconsistent because there's only one copy of each card in this deck. That is really going to make the deck work well, but we deal with what we have with what we have. The whole idea around this deck is getting incubator tokens. There are multiple ways to get incubator tokens. Sculpted Perfection, you get an incubator token too whenever it comes into the battlefield, and Phyrexians of all sorts get +1/+1. That includes Gix Yawgmoth Praetor. That also includes Grafted Butcher. Everything gets +1/+1. That is a Phyrexian, and we have tons of Phyrexians. We also have things like Phyrexian Awakening, which is Incubate 4, and Phyrexians have Vigilance. So not only do they get +1/+1, but they also get Vigilance for indefinitely, which is a fantastic enchantment if you are playing a Phyrexian deck. If you look, all of the things that we have in here are Phyrexians, or they create Phyrexians, or they are removal. So there is almost a 99% chance. I'm going to say 99% chance because there must be something I'm missing somewhere. But you're going to have Phyrexians on the field. So things like the Phyrexian Awakening and Sculpted Perfection are fantastic in this deck. Nice little finisher in this deck could be Progenitor Ucharch. I'm saying that wrong. Correct me. I don't know how to read. But it incubates 3x times, where X is the amount of generic that you pay for this. So it's very, 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 very nice later on in the game. If you could cast this for 9, you get 4 3/3s that go along with it. And that's pretty powerful. You can also tap him to activate an incubator token that you control as well. Speaking of how heavily we are influenced by Phyrexians and incubator tokens, which are also Phyrexians, we also have March Towards Perfection, which gives you a boon and you get a 1/1 counter and death touch counter on something that you cast next, but only if it's a Phyrexian creature spell. The Missionary, the Gix, etc., or anything out of the spell book for this card. And it's very interesting. If you're playing in the starter deck duels area, you could actually sneak mythics out onto the field like Flesh Gorger, like Phyrexian Obliterator, and a couple of really good rares in here, such as the one, where is it? Archfiend of the Dross. There are so many good cards in this spell book, and you're sneaking mythics into a very limited format where those cards should not exist. It's pretty crazy, it's pretty broken, and it's really fun to get off. Again, we have 8 tapped lands that come into play, and it makes things a little slow sometimes, but hey, just bear with me a little bit because these are starter decks. We're going to talk about upgrades at the end of the video, and we're going to play some matches and have a good time. So enjoy it. Let's get into the matches, and make sure you've liked the video and subscribed to the channel. It really does help out quite a bit, and I will see you in a minute. Phyrexian's time, guys, and now that I'm more aware of how exactly we're supposed to be playing this, I'd like to give these decks a little bit of a test run before we jump into the action, because this is supposed to be a learning experience, a teaching experience from my end as well. Let's look at this. Benalish Sleeper. Haven't gotten this on the field yet, but it's a nice little nuke to things. Nice to hold up, though. You never really feel like you're behind having a sleeper. At worst, he's a 2-drop for, well, a 3/1 as a 2-drop, which is fine. At the worst, he's killing a creature. Alright, march towards perfection. I've noticed that one thing that we should do with this, or at least one thing that I do with this, is we can draw a card and lose a life with a Ravager, but I almost prefer the Volt Scourge with the lifelink. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Especially because you get a 1/1 counter on the next creature that you cast. Getting Volt Scourge on turn 1, then playing it for the 2 that it costs is pretty good, because a 2/2 lifelinker is fantastic, especially if that flying lifelinker also has Death Touch. And we're hoping to give him all kinds of things. Vigilance, +1/+1 again, etc. Oh wow, that is a lot of lands. Well, since we have a Volt Scourge on the ground, where we're going to be gaining some life, I do not mind at all getting Phyrexia Arena down and cooking. Taking a little bit of damage each turn to gain more cards. More cards equals more win probability. Almost always. Wary Thespian. Pretty good card for this deck. Surveils. He's got 2 lands in the bin. Now he's got 3 lands in the bin. That's pretty solid for the opponent. Conscript. No way to exile things. But that is a-okay. Well, let's see. Swamp. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to clean this board up a little bit. You might be like, well, Coffee, you're putting these guys on the ground and they could swing really nicely, but getting the Thespian off of the field is probably smart. So we're going to lean into something like that. We have the Deadly Derision so that we can kill some of his rares later on. Phyrexian Arena might be, well, it might be hurting us. Another Cult Conscript. Hopefully it's a good one. Let's draw. It's mana. Well, we're going to do what we usually do. We're going to drop the Defector this time. Then we're going to swing it with the Scourge and the Sleeper, actually. We need to be a little bit more fast than what we've been doing in this round, so getting a little extra damage off, getting that lifelink back up to 16. Me and the opponent are starting to separate ways with life total. Diminished Returner, very good. But passes back to us. We get to draw 2 cards. Ossification being one of those, and that's a great target for the returner. So you can't return if you're exiled, right? Grab it. Then, of course, we can swing in for 2. Gets a little bit of extra damage off. And we're wanting that Obliterator. Yep, this is a scoopable moment for the opponent. Next turn, opponent scoops. Hands down. If he doesn't scoop, I'm going to be very impressed. Well, he might have removal, but he's going to use it right now. Fantastic. I'll also get the incubate here for 4. 1, 2, 3 swamps. We need one more swamp to make this really what we want. And he realizes right away that's not the swing he wants and pulls back. And we're so far ahead right now. Aha. We got our 4th black. Let's see. Does he scoop, though, to this? Sculpted Perfection. Not so far. Man. We got to play it right, guys. Incubate. Swing. That's a big swing. Next turn, you're not looking any better with Phyrexian Obliterator coming in and finishing you off. A go for the throat. Fine. Incubate 3. What else? Chomp. No, he's going to kill. Huh. Very strange. Not sure about that move at all. Should have blocked more damage there. Well, at least we're going to be able to cast our Phyrexian Obliterator. That's kind of cool. Gargantua. Draws a couple cards, loses a couple life. Alright, opponent. You're a funny guy. You're a funny guy. I'm still casting it. We're still casting Phyrexian Obliterator in starter deck duels. Hello. Oh, welcome to the arena. And actually, I'm going to pass. Oh, I wanted him to swing. I wanted to kill him with the Obliterator. I guess the Obliterator still killed him, even if it didn't. Too expensive. We can do nothing till turn 6. That's way too slow. So we mulligan that first hand, and looking here now. Yeah, I'm liking. I like. Got the Alabaster, so maybe we're dropping a plains. Yeah. Obliterator again. Last match we got the Obliterator option, and we took it, but this time I think we're actually going for the Flesh Gorger. Flesh Gorger, fantastic card. Obliterator could be really good, though. It's easier to get the Flesh Gorger out because you don't need 4 sources of black. The reason we took the Obliterator last time was we were already so close to having it that we just went with it. Let's just play the Missionary. A 3/4. A 3/4 for 2. It's pretty solid stuff. Okay. Swing in. Aha. Do we want to wait on the Flesh Gorger, or do we want to cast it now? We don't know what he's exactly playing yet, but this might be enough to just get him off of the battlefield. I'm just going to play it on tempo. Yep, it was the correct move so far. Swing. Down to 11. Ichor Drinker, pass. Yeah. Let's do it like that. This is the Scry deck. So we've got good targets for Ossification later on. Basically, we want to stop him from scrying, but if that doesn't really work, then we can remove Arwen. Go to my turn. Benalish Sleeper, which we're going to kick, and he scoops. Alright. Hey, I gotta say, this is not bad at all. This is a lot better than the green-white deck. It's a lot better than a lot of the other decks because you have good interaction with stuff like Benalish Sleeper, Ossification, and of course you could get really crazy things like the Flesh Gorger. Quick question while going into the arena with Bert. Where's your Ernie? Do you have an Ernie with your Bert? The philosophy of Magic the Gathering is ever deep and evolving. Here we go. Hey, look at that. White and black mana. Perfect. Get rid of the expensive stuff. We are really hoping for luck of the draw. We had a mulligan down to 5. Never like doing that, but these decks are inconsistent sometimes, guys. They are starter decks after all. Bert would tell you. What are we doing? We're drawing a couple cards here, but we kind of got to do this quickly. Yep. We need smaller drops. Phyrexian Rager being that pick. Tapped land for the opponent. And passing. He hasn't dropped a 4 Moradin card yet, but he has had only tapped lands. Is he really passing back? You can't be. You gotta have something. Alright. Rager comes out. It's a big 3/3 Rager. Draws a card. Loses a life. We take first blood on ourselves. Red. 4 mana now, man. You've gotta have a drop. Planar Disruption. Alright. Well, Rager cannot swing. It's actually kind of inconvenient, but we will take it in stride. With the deck that he's playing, he should have tons of drops right now. We have removal, so I'm not sure what he's waiting for. Yeah, pass. My turn. Yeah. We'll take it. Infected Defector. Any card with a little bit of recursion like this is always really good in starter deck areas. Generally. And that's why the 4 Moradin deck is actually pretty solid. Another one. Okay. Yep. Well, if you want to play a control build, Mr. Opponent, there are control decks in this area of Arena. Could Plane Cycle. But I think it's better to do this twice. Oh, 1-2. He's been able to pacify everything so far. Mana. Transform that. And then we're going to transform the second one. Now we're looking forward to a nice big swing. Eventually when the opponent runs out of ropes. He kicked it. That's fine. So he's going to gain some life. Yep, he's used most of his removal, though, which puts us at an advantage because we haven't used any of our removal. We're just chilling, hanging out. More mana. Swings. Eventually, we're going to get roped again here. It's coming. So, time for Cookie Clicker. And we are back. We are clicking some cookies. Man, isn't it wonderful? Wonderful game, by the way. Not really the most... Oh, we got a frenzy. There we go. Oh, it is our turn again, but I am in the middle of a frenzy. Oh, yes. The frenzy is here. I don't know. I'm a little strange, guys. All right, let's go back. Swings. And we'll go back to the Cookie Clicker. Wonderful game, by the way. Hey, whenever they're roping, make sure you have something else you're able to do while you wait for the inevitable end to the rope, like randomly clicking a cookie over and over again. Two birds with one stone. Like the typical control player, always have a backup plan. Ah, it is our turn. Swing. Have no idea what this opponent is doing. He doesn't either. And we will continue to go to Cookie Clicker. Yes, all of the cookies. I am a very hungry man, and I need all of the cookies, and my grannies will continue to make me more cookies, even while we are getting roped in Arena. Keep that in mind, guys. Always have a backup plan. Could read books, you know, write some text on philosophy, whatever you really feel like doing. Not really sure what the opponent is doing anyway. It's an easy win because we've got a man who does not understand that you need to be playing things whenever you are playing the red-white deck. And he's already in roping things, and that's really bad for the longevity of him. All right, I mean, if you're already roping people and you're just playing the starter deck duels, maybe Magic isn't for you. Go play a different game and stay out of a game that we already have trouble with people like that just get tilted and make you wait. I'm going to leave this in the video because, oh man, it's frustrating. It really is. Couple of tapped lands, but do I really care? Turn 3, Gix, very strong in this format. Turn 2, March Towards Perfection. Then a Gix with an extra 1/1 counter on it is pretty powerful. If Iconoclast comes down, though, it doesn't. Okay, so since it doesn't, we answer with another tapped land. We march towards Perfection and take a look. Okay, that's terrible. That's terrible. Ravager is kind of the best choice here. So we grab the Ravager. Seed Shark. We can't have a Seed Shark laying around. Oh, I wasted the 1/1. All right, that's fine. I meant to do that. We need to get the Seed Shark off of the field, though. I forget alchemy stuff all the time. All the time I'm going to forget it. Eyes of Gataxis. That's not our favorite card. Could go with a Rager here. Rager would be pretty decent. Gix gets removed too easily. We want to get the Rager going, get some land. Also get the Ichor Drinker down. Okay, we got enough to get rid of it. And knowing your deck, we're going to have to use our removals smartly. We only have one piece of removals so far. Amplifier, unkicked. Uses all of his mana and then passes back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need one more to play this. We can get the Infected Defector out. We're waiting for our Gix because we don't have a clear way to hit the opponent yet. And our March Towards Perfection was terrible. That's fine. He does put a card at the bottom. We do get to incubate 3. So we want to trade Rager with the Amplifier, and then this Incubator token with this Incubator token. And I accidentally touched it, so he probably knows the plan. Or he knows I'm planning things. Okay, meeting the minds. It's a big Amplifier. Comes on in with it. We block here. Gix can come out. We will swing. We will take the action. We get Awakening. Very good, but we're wanting to play this a little bit slow. We haven't seen the things that makes this deck good yet. Embroiler is, I don't think Embroiler is that great in this particular build of the deck. He does get a Flame of Anor off. Grows the Embroiler. Kills the Gix. Mana. What now? Passing to attacks. And we're going to do it like this. Transform. Opponent. Spite again. Well, we're going to take some damage. Do it like this. Grabbing Embroiler. And no attacks. We'll block with this. Haughty Jin. That's what we wanted to remove. That's the one right there. We see it. Comes on in, and we are going to take this block here. I think this is a job for Alabaster, host, Intercessor. Grab the Haughty Jin. We got it. Oh, we got it. The problem is we can't really block with this. Volcanic Spike coming back. Spreads out. Oh, what is that card? Flame of Anor on top. What are the chances? We're going to take the chance here. Yep. Yep. Okay. We know he has a Flame of Anor. He's looking at the incubator token. He already knows about it. Okay. Flame of Anor. Destroy target artifact. Now he can do that. That is a wizard. He is going to do that. Okay. And he draws a couple cards. Man, these decks are just so hard to deal with. Because they got that card draw. Can I actually activate this? And probably take the block here. Ossification. I'll target a different land. Just because it's a correct way to do it. Grabbing that. Doing this. Making him bigger. He's got vigilance now, so he's used a lot of his removal already. We're just hoping that... oh, there's more. There's always more. Swings in with a 1-1. Do the Awakening again. I don't mind playing on the back row. Good. He has land, and he showed me it was land. He showed me it was land. Not sure why he looked at all of my land, but hey. This is how you play this deck. Wow. All right. Oh, wow. What a match. What a match. That was hard fought. That was very difficult to take down the Izzet deck with the Phyrexian deck, but we did it. It's done. All right. Hey, let's go to a post-game wrap, and we'll talk about ways to kind of upgrade this and make it a little bit more consistent. And we're over on my other profile so that we could clone this. I have noticed that I know a lot of people do not have these in their collection right now, mostly because there is a bug and Wizards is working to fix it. But if you started a new account right now, you could get all of these cards, but you're going to have a brand new account, so it's going to be terrible. Let's go ahead and clone this and take a look at it. Now, I don't have a huge heck of a lot of experience with these kinds of decks. I'm going to say that right off. But if I wanted to make this really good, and I really like March Towards Perfection in here, and that's a strange thing for me to say because it is an alchemy card, but if you wanted to upgrade it to work in alchemy, which is kind of what this is asking you to do, I would do something like get rid of the pile on. It is a rare, but I don't like it. It's too inconsistent. I also don't like Deadly Derision. We're going to get rid of those as well. These, I think, are fantastic. The Sculpted Perfections, as well as the Phyrexian Awakenings. We need those things in this deck. We do not need the Seed Pod Caretaker. You could transform an Incubator token, but this costs 3 for a 2/2 to transform an Incubator token. I think it's garbage. This is the definition of a bad card. Phyrexian Arena, I'm pulling in two directions with this, because on one hand, Phyrexian Arena is fantastic to draw cards and get things into your hand, but we already do that with Gix Yawgmoth Praetor. This is a standard where Phyrexian Arena is not the best way to draw cards if you're playing black. So we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to go up to 3 Gix Yawgmoth Praetors, 4 Missionaries, 3 Ossifications, 4 of these, 2 of these bad boys, and you're able to draw cards a lot easier now. Bloated Processor is okay, but this deck doesn't really put 1/1 counters on things, so we're going to get rid of it. Some of this stuff on the back end, like the Alabaster Hope Intercessor, is fine. The Defector is fine. There are commons. It's probably not going to hurt you too much. Benalish Sleeper, I really like this as a common, but I want to increase it to 4 just because of the things it does early game for us and getting creatures off of the field, etc., etc. Now, keep in mind, I haven't played this archetype too much, so I'm not 100% sure on exactly what I want to do to increase this. But one thing I do know for certain is that we want Sheoldreds in here. Oh yeah, I have to go to Not Collected because this is a new account. By the way, different video coming up. Getting the Mythic in without spending any money in less than 2 weeks. That's the goal. I think it'd be an interesting video. But we definitely want Sheoldred the Apocalypses in here. And we kind of want this deck to be a little bit cheaper, but these cards are kind of necessary for the archetype that we're trying to play. We also want Go for the Throats. 4 copies of these. You got your 3 Ossifications. Tons of control in the early game. Maybe we're going down to 2 Phyrexian Missionaries. We're going to get rid of the Butchers. The Sheoldred the Apocalypse and the Gix Yawgmoth Praetor is enough to make it worth carrying Sculpted Perfection in this deck. I think we actually get rid of this as well. And while we're at it, we're going to get rid of this stuff as well. We want this to be kind of fast, and we want to jump on our opponent. Ossifications are going to get rid of their early game creatures or later game creatures, whichever, it doesn't matter. And we, of course, have Go for the Throats to do that same thing. March Towards Perfection is fantastic, and if you really wanted to, you could get rid of these Exarchs too. This is a sorcery. We get those with that. And then we could go down one of these and one of these. And I don't want to go down on those. Get rid of these. Yeah, and then go up on this one. Because we really want Gix to have Vigilance, Sheoldred to have Vigilance, being able to swing with a 4/5 Death Touch, and then give it Vigilance till the next turn. Seems pretty strong. Do I think that this is fantastic? No, not at all. But I think that this is a step in the right direction towards making this deck good. I will also happily say that I know nothing about what is happening in Alchemy right now, so I don't know. Do people use Sheoldred the Apocalypse in Alchemy? Do people use Gix, Yawgmoth Praetor? Is it good in Alchemy? We know Phyrexian Missionary is very good. We know that Gix and Sheoldred are both played in Standard quite a bit. Go for the Throats, definitely used, etc., etc., but for the most part, I don't know, man. Alchemy is not really my cup of tea. So if you really want to, this is mostly Standard. You could remove March Towards Perfection and put something else in here. But I really like March Towards Perfection only because it allows you to actually sneak mythics like the Phyrexian Fleshgorger out onto the field. Or the Phyrexian Obliterator from your hand, or from nothingness. It just poof appears out of nowhere. It's not in your deck, it's not in your sideboard, but you get them anyway. And oh yeah, and of course you have Archfiend as well. Yeah, there's a lot of broken stuff in this card, and I would really like to find a way to make it, but I would have to play hours and hours and hours in Alchemy to see if something like this would actually work and be good in Alchemy. Again, I don't know much about Alchemy. If I keep going on in this video, I'm going to start rambling, and nobody wants to hear that. So make sure that you've liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time in the arena. Bye.